Okay, hi there. Good evening, everybody. We know that we usually start at 8:30, but we're not only dealing with a lockdown and all our own normal life's issues and things, but we're dealing with Eskom and a government that doesn't give a shit about anybody. So they've taken the support group meetings away with this lockdown. There's a great deal of addicts that have relapsed, and people that suffer with other things, and that also need support groups and things like that. There's been almost double the amount of suicides and things like that you don't see on the news and stuff during this lockdown. And how much more is government gonna bullshit us when it comes to them saying that it's gonna be 2 days of lockdown this whole year of load shedding? Not 2 days of lockdown, 2 days of load shedding. So we were a little bit in the dark just for this evening. But what I wanted to say is about meeting the members and my post earlier is that all of us were in the dark. And Eskom's trying to keep us in the dark. But at RAEL, recovery must go on. And I always say that it's such a blessing for me to see guys come from this lost, broken, distraught and despair look in their eyes that is almost like looking into somebody's eyes that is about to be put 6 feet under. And you see the light come back into their eyes. You see the confidence come back. You see the shoulders go back up when they walk again. They don't just walk around you looking at the ground anymore. How's it, Andrew? How's it, Garth? How's it, Doctor? Good evening. I'm glad to see that you're watching. Colleen, Lee J, my friend there in the UK. Claire. It is a very good evening. I'm sober. I'm sitting with another 30 sober guys. That is all maybe classified drug addicts and I almost said F-ups by society and the stigma that's attached to us. But one thing I can say on behalf of all of them is that at least they doing something about their problem. At least they acknowledge they got a problem. Sometimes it takes a while for us to convince them. And that is the way it is. How's it, Dad? Good evening. Good evening, Michelle. It would have been nice to have you here instead of Michael. But anyways, we accept the things we cannot change. And good evening, Michelle. It's nice to see that people are participating and watching on a Saturday evening. And this is what it's about, you know. As I said, as we progress in our live meetings and things like that, we've just gotten a taste of the different, or some of the different faces and people on the RAEL Recovery Center farm that is headed and that was founded by Mr. Hall, and the primary teachings come from him, his experience, the program he's lived and walked, and we thank him for his devotion, complete devotion to the program. Mr. Hall is on a short break, very short break if you ask me, because the last break that he was on was in 2019. Otherwise, he's been on the farm day in and day out, and he doesn't go home at 5 o'clock like the like the state rehabs or like the clinical rehabs and things like that. Because active addiction doesn't work from 9 to 5. No, wait. So neither should recovery. So good evening to all that's watching. It's lekker to have you guys watching. And I thought tonight we're going to let you meet the members. And then as they go on, they're just going to introduce themselves. Their name, their age, and what drugs they used. And maybe where they were at in life and their mindset or sort of situation before they got here. And how long they've been here. And how it is. And I told them to be honest. If they don't like it here, or they forced to be here by one of their family members, or whatever the case might be, and they don't want to be here, then they can say that as well. But like I say all the time, that you can't recover without honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. So I'm going to go around quickly. I struggled a bit to get my phone charged up enough because the load shedding that we were promised we would only have 2 days of this whole year would only be we weren't notified about it. And so before I go around, I just want to check quickly which names are up here. I see Clutchy's there. He's come through the door. I posted on my wall on Friday what he looked like when he got here. He looked bad on the outside, but I promise you he looked worse on the inside. You guys have seen Grant speak yesterday evening. There's a couple of other guys, Junior. Keenan has spoken. Lincoln has spoken, Angus has spoken on a full live meeting, and there's many more guys outside. Gladwin came from a dark place outside as well. We see his name pop up here as well. We'd like him to possibly share some evening, and then as we go along and grow, then we'll get to know the guys and sort of watch we can have an opportunity to watch their progress as they go along as well. Garth as well, that came through the doors here. And then Graham, that is just over 5 years, that was stealing and robbing and scuttling and pushing a trolley around and living under a bridge 5 years ago. Is house sitting in the, if you want to call it, the poshest area of Worcester. It's called Fairway Heights. It's like it's like Cape Town's Plattekloof, or in between Plattekloof and Clifton, if you want to push it that far. And that's how we grow. That's how much trust and integrity through his actions that he's built up. And then we got Andrew Brown as well. That is he's working at Fives Football, that came through the doors of RAEL. Also still sober today. We've got Freddie Cass, one of the serious heroin addicts that came through the doors, and who is also almost 6 years sober now. He's got a family, has had more little ones since. We got Big J in Richwood, that's got a full functional family of his own, and is a productive member of society. And there's many more names. Andrew Penkin that has come through the doors of RAEL, and as I say, we almost, it's very difficult. We only remember the names because so many guys come through the doors. We remember the ones that that stay in contact. And so I'm gonna go around. I know you guys have heard most of my story. So it would just be something like, I'm Kurt, I'm a recovering junkie, housebreaker, criminal, person that comes from the street that could steal anything and was only focused on getting, using and finding ways and means to use more, and broken to the core inside. Couldn't look the world in the eye, walked around looking down at my shoes with my shoulders hanging down, and couldn't smile. Today is a lot different to the state of what I came in, but we just want to introduce the guys as they all have different but the same stories, all different sort of circumstances, all different walks of life, and maybe there's somebody in a similar situation, background, or trade, and this is proof. What I'm going to do now is proof that addiction doesn't look at your bank balance. It doesn't look at your color. It doesn't look at the inheritance that you've been left. It doesn't look at how rich your parents are. It doesn't care what qualifications you got. If it wants to take you down and screw you, it's going to. And what we do here, is constantly work up against that. I don't know if I'm going to put Carl on tonight because I know he likes the camera, but and we've met him already. Most of the time in Carl's past life, he was only invited somewhere twice. The second time was to come and apologize, and that is the way it is. But today the man has changed. Van has been here for 19 months today. Sam has been here for 2 years, and we've got many other success stories. Richie that came in here that shares and that we speak a lot about, living a full life, and the same also as Grant during the lockdown, blessed to be able to have his job. Lee Jason, usually we got a lot more guys that are employed, but obviously with the COVID and with the load shedding and everything else that has happened, and yes, Michelle, TikTok call. Everything that goes on, it's very, very difficult to get jobs for the guys through themselves, even with qualifications. And I've seen it. We've gotten more jobs for people here through Mr. Hall, and he tries to remove the stigma and give addicts a second chance. He's organized more jobs on his credibility and on his account through people than what the labor laws of this country has. So maybe we should get to a point where we start our own ESCOM. All the RAEL guys can get exercise bikes, and we can spinning bikes, and we can generate our own electricity. So I'm going to let the guys go around very quickly. Not going to give their life stories, just their name, a little bit about their background, their age, and what they use, and just so you can get an idea of the colors, creeds, breeds, ages. It doesn't matter. We all here, and addiction has equalized us. So there's no man here that is better or worse than the next one, because we all have the same common goal. And some of them, the drugs hit a little bit harder than others, but there's also others that had more different problems before that. But we've seen anybody is capable of healing here. Anybody is capable of healing here and going out and living a full life. we've seen lives take full circles here, and I believe mine is one of them. So, alright, thank you for watching. You guys can, I'll start here by AD. Like me, he's got broken service here, but that's what happens when you don't listen. You need to feel. I just wish that not every addict needed to be like me and has to go and feel and would rather listen to what people would say.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Grateful to be sharing with you guys this evening a little bit about myself. My name is Adrian. Everybody knows me as AD, and I'm going for 3 years that I've been here at RAEL almost. Also broken service, like Mr. Kurt said. Grateful to be sober, but grateful to be alive also, all through the grace of God. And before coming to RAEL, obviously this is not my first institution or first rehabilitation. I did go to my first rehab at the age of 20 years old. I used drugs since the age of 10 years old. I was still in primary school. I got introduced to most common drug on the Cape Flats called TIC, methamphetamine, but we call it TIC. It is TIC. The first drug I ever smoked, not your normal thing that people would normally go through, Dacha, then an ANC, and then Oka pipe, and whatever the case may be. I went straight onto TIC, and from there my life just went downhill from there. But my first institution that I went to was at the age of 20 years old. Still didn't accept the full measure of my disease. Still was in denial. It protected me from the reality of what I am, of who I am today. But grateful to have come to a place like RAEL that has taught me the right way and the hard way of who I really am, to swallow that pill that I had to accept when I came through the gates, that I was the most dishonest person, that I had no values, I had no morals, I had no respect for anybody or anything but the drug. So far that I was prepared to put my own family's life at risk to get my next fix. Obviously, some of you have heard my story on the live shares that I've given, and I'm not going to go too much in detail in that. But just a message I want to send out to the still suffering addict out there, like my sister, like everybody else's family member that's on the streets, that there is hope, and the light is at the end of the tunnel. Whether it took me 3 weeks for my life to have gone downhill after I left RAEL after 17 months, thinking I could go out there and test the waters, and thought that I was ready to face the world. I wasn't. I had a hard knock, and I'm actually grateful for that hard knock. Mr. Kurt said it now this evening, that maybe some people should have listened the first time and they shouldn't have gone what they've went through, but I am grateful I went through what I went through, because now I know what is at risk. Now I respect more what I have. Now I put much more, 120% effort in it, because I know exactly what is at risk. I know exactly what is at stake. And I have accepted the full measure of my disease, that the fact that the only solution to my problem this evening is to surrender to the fact that recovery is the only way that's going to solve my life, to live that so-called normal life that people want to live. It's only putting my recovery first that I'll be able to be a productive member of society, that I'll be able to be a present father, that I'll be able to be a good son, and I'll be able to be, a good citizen of society out there, and a good person that I am this evening. It's all through working this program at RAEL. Thank you to RAEL, thank you to Mr. Hall, thank you to Mr. Schuler. Thank you to each and every person that has put the effort and has that praise for this place as well. Continue to pray. Thank you for all the praise you guys have given us. Thank you for supporting us, and for allowing us to share with this evening who we are, to introduce ourselves. So I'm not going to speak too much. I just want to pass on to the next person that will talk. Thank you very much. Have a lovely evening. Love to everybody.
Hi, good evening everyone. I'm Grant. I'm 39 years old. You heard a bit about my story last night. I've been a meth addict, TIC addict, button cop for most of my life, on and off. And yeah, I'm at RAEL for 8 months now and going strong. I've got a job. I've become that productive member of society as AD was talking about, and I'm just doing my best. I'm extremely blessed to be here. Yeah, that's about it. I don't want to talk too much. I want to pass on to the other guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Mr. Hall, for everything you've done for me. And God bless.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Johan. I'm 34 years old. I was addicted 17, 16 years until I came to the step that I had to surrender and admit and accept I've got a problem. Life went good for me. I had a couple of jobs where I did good. I even became my own boss for my own personal work. And for me, everything felt good and fine. But that's what we all think when we're under the influence. Coming to RAEL, I learned more about myself and what is real, and that what I thought was good and what I did was perfect was all fake, basically. So you feel like sometimes you just want to walk away and whatever, but if you walk away to nowhere, basically. The things that I've been taught and learned here gives me a new perspective of life and what I'm able to achieve, and everyone around here as well. So the best would be just to stay sober. Don't try and touch any type of drug, because it will lead you no good. You might think you are on a good path and you will get far, but that's only fake illusions that you're going through. So thanks for RAEL for making me surrender and admit I've got a problem, and that there's more waiting for me out there, being sober and having a rational mindset. Okay, good evening, everyone. Here's the next person.
Hi everyone, my name is Trevor. I've been a meth addict on and off for the last 18 years, and buttons, any kind of drug actually, and I did some gay stuff under the influence of drugs, for more drugs, and also I've been in institutions a couple of times, and it's not a nice place to be, but I'm just glad I'm at RAEL at the moment to sort out my life. Thanks.
Good evening all. My name is Keenan. I'm a recovering addict. I've been at RAEL for almost 2 months. My life was unmanageable. I then put myself into RAEL, and it's the best thing that ever happened to me. I'm enjoying myself at RAEL. I love RAEL, and I'm thankful to RAEL and God. Thank you.
Goeienaand almal, my naam is Herman. Ek's 30 jaar oud. Ek's 'n gekwalifiseerde diesel mechanic. Ek is al so 4 maande hier by RAEL, en ek kan net dankie sê vir meneer Hall vir alles wat hy al vir ons geleer het hier. Dankie.
Hi, good evening all. My name is Junior. Yes, I'm about 5 months now at RAEL. Came from the streets here to RAEL. Busy building up my life here. I'm 28 years old. And yeah, just a big thanks to Mr. Hall and my mom for getting me over here. And yeah, my life's getting back on track. Thanks.
Hi, it's Justin here, 28 years old, and I am a recovering addict. I have been using stimulants, illegal, and also prescription drugs as well as alcohol for the last 8 years. I believe I just use that to mask bigger issues, and I'm here for recovery.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, crackheads and non-crackheads. I hope everyone is well this evening. My name is Ryan Tank Engelke. I'm 30 years old. I've been at the Rail Center now almost a year. What brought me here is I started with Tacha, then went on to MDMA, tick, buttons, cocaine. My life became very unmanageable. I almost lost everything in my life. And today I'm starting to gain everything, but spiritually. I hope everyone has a great evening. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Eugene. I'm 37 years old. I've been a drug addict, drug addict for nearly 21 years. I've got more experience being a drug addict than being a real person. I've spent a lot of time in psychiatric hospitals. Drug has messed up my life virtually to the point of non-repair. I'm truly grateful for Mr. Hall giving me this chance. I believe if I put in 120%, I will make it. Thank you very much.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Benjamin. I'm an addict. I've been an addict for 14 years, and I decided to come to RAEL to change my life. Thank you very much.
I'm Martin. I'm 23, and I've been here 4.5 months.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Bernard. I'm 46 years old. I've been in active addiction for around 20 years. I've been RAEL for 2 months and 3 days. I just want to thank you, Mr. Hall, and my mom for everything they've been doing for me. I'm doing rather good. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name's Justin. I'm 26 years old. I've been a cocaine addict and addicted to alcohol for a good part of 8 years. I'm very thankful to have been given the chance to come to RAEL. Yes, I kind of didn't surrender to the program and didn't fully accept, so I was placed here. I was here for under a month, and I decided to take a walk down the gravel road, or more like a run. And when I hit rock bottom, then I hit the bottom of rock bottom, and then the rock hit me back. And I was arrested and placed here now under court order, which is actually hindsight a very positive thing. And it just shows that Mr. Hall and the RAEL management team, and that actually goes above and beyond their needs, and that it's more than just a recovering clinic or a rehabilitation center, as they do actually go that extra mile, and they do care, and it is their passion. So yes, I'm working on my recovery, and thank you very much. Have a good evening.
How's it, everyone? I'm Michael. I'm 20 years old. I've been here almost 11 months, but broken service. After 6.5 months, I left, thought I knew better, even though Mr. Schuller told me so. And yeah, I ended up back here. I just want to say thanks to Mr. Hall and the staff, the team here, for letting me come back and for giving me that second chance. And yeah, just thanks to my family for always being there for me. Shot.
Hallo, mijn naam is Kobus. Ik kom van Saldanha af en ja, ek is nou hier by RAEL vir omtrent 4 maande. Gister was dit 4 maande gewees. Nee, ek hoop ek glo ek is op 'n herstelpad hier. Ja, vat dit maar dag vir dag en glo ek sal net groei hieruit. Ek hoop julle het 'n lekker aand. Dankie, bye.
Evening, everybody. I'm sad to family, friends, and everybody that knows me. My name is Lincoln. I'm from the southern suburbs of Cape Town. I've been here for 8 months. I've also been here 8 years ago. And I'm currently here on a court order for 2 years. Happy to be here. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sam. I'm celebrating my 2 years today. 2 years of being free from the scourge and the pain of alcohol and drugs that haunted me for 16 years of my life. And I'm grateful beyond words to my parents who still believed in me despite me, and to the program here, to the management, and most importantly to my best friend. Yeah, that's me. Thank you. Oh, shout out to all my fans.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Werner. I'm 39 years old. I'm coming from Pretoria. Yes, my life was a downfall from the beginning. From the age of 20, started using party drugs, going clubbing, and just moving forward on with not doing the right thing. I'm a qualified guide in the guiding industry, and I lose so many jobs in my life, in and out from one place to another place, and just floating around. And what happened is my parents got sick of me, and they said to me, listen here, I have two options, over streets or rehab. And yeah, my whole life was just decided, listen here, it was all a big mistake. I need to keep on going on. To do what I need to do is to get my life right. And overall, yeah, I did make the right choice, and it's been 19 months here today. And yeah, my whole life was been turned around from the days walking the rail, and also Mr. Hall, Mr. Schuler, and the rest of the members. Yeah, so everything what happened at RAEL also changed my life. I just take it day by day. In the beginning it was tough. Yeah, and everything I need to do, I did it, and just keep on moving forward. Over the years, over the last year and a half, or a couple of months, I learned a lot of things at RAEL, and I take the tools and I work it every day by day, and I'm still going forward with it. I'm not going to give up easily. I become much stronger in my behavior, in my actions, and my thoughts. So yes, I just want to say thank you to Mr. Hall, to my parents, Mr. Schuler, but overall I just want to say thank you God for everything He done for me. Without God, I don't know where I will be ending up. Yes, and I just want to say thank you for everyone who helped me and stand by me, and all my family who support me. Thanks.
Thank you, Werner. And I just want to speak on behalf of Uncle Chris here. And this is Uncle Chris. Uncle Chris is 66 years old. He's got a bit of a speech problem, communication problem, but as long as we speak the language of the heart, and we can't be doing too bad at that, because Uncle Chris is 66 years old. He had a big alcohol problem, experimented with some other things as well. He liked to party, he liked motorbikes, and he liked women. He still likes women. And a lot of rock and roll. But like everybody else's life here, and there's no happy endings when it comes to staying on drugs and alcohol and abusing it. And after 40 years of doing that, eventually it has to catch up with you. And Uncle Chris has also been on the streets. He's also accomplished a lot, been a journalist, and been a successful man, but succumbed to alcohol, and has been on the farm here for 8 years. Does a lot here. He carries the message in his actions, and shows the younger guys sometimes who come from backgrounds who are a little bit lazy or a bit lazy, and in his actions proves that at any age laziness shouldn't be a problem, because he's always on the move here, always willing to do the next right thing, and he's been here for 8 years and has remained sober, and he's part of the furniture, part of the family, and we've also seen Uncle Chris grow from strength to strength.
Hi, I'm Brian. I'm 68 next month, and next month I'll be at RAEL for two years. My first rehab I went to, I was 4 months, which was a joke, because my son asked me, did they teach you about the 12 steps? I said no. So he had contacts with Mr. Hall, and that's why I ended up here. I'm so grateful. I've stuck to the blue book, going to do the step 12s, and God's come into my life and it's changed my whole outlook about everything. I run the vegetable tunnels here, so I'm given free range. I'm in charge of it. I must know what to plant, what hoppers to kill, and I was so bored before, and now I feel like I've got something to do at the end of to keep my days busy in it. And I just want to thank Mr. Hall for letting me. To me, it's like my new home, yeah, and I'm just loving it, yeah. And anybody that's got a problem, this is the place to come. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Angus. Been addicted to Tuk, main drugs, and Dacha. I'm from Wellington. I know Mr. Hall now for a few years, and he helped me a lot. I was here before, I relapsed and I came back. I'm almost 1 year sober, and I'm currently studying to be a carer. I'm also doing my practical year and looking after Mr. Hall's mom. A special thanks to God, because without him I wouldn't be sitting here tonight. Then a big thank you to my parents for supporting me, and especially for Mr. Hall and Dr. Rihanna for sponsoring me to do the course that I'm busy doing, and love you lots. Thank you.
Okay, so friends, there we have the guys that are on the farm at the moment. A lot of them are doing the primary program. We've got we sort of cater for all different people. And all these guys come from a different walk of life, from Bishop Lavis to Bishop's Court. And that's why I say that addiction and drugs is the greatest equalizer. It's gonna take you down. And the lovely part about it taking you down is that we get an opportunity to change our lives, and there's so many people that are non-addicts that have made mistakes that would love a break like this in in a place that is nice and quiet, peaceful, where there's a lot of banter between the guys, and our common goal with the help and support of each other is obviously to live better full lives. Because if that isn't what we wanted, we wouldn't have been here. If that isn't what we wanted for the people that come in here, then we wouldn't be here. We'd turn it into a holiday resort. But our focus is obviously for people to go out there and live better full lives, one day at a time, for the rest of their life. And it is possible for any and everybody that has been through the doors here. This evening I also wanna say thank you to the parents that have supported and done their part along the way. Some of them do make our job a little bit difficult when it comes to enabling and wanting to do things their way and all of that, but just the same as the addicted person, their way didn't work before. That's why they needed to come to rehab, and And addiction is a family illness, where the parents and the loved ones should also learn from other parents and loved ones of addicts and people that teach about it. And that is what Mr. Wall is big on as well. He likes interacting with the families and giving them the information that is needed for them to help their loved one in the right way. Because if they could help their loved one in the right way, then they wouldn't be in a recovery center. And that is where the responsibility of the loved ones come in, where sometimes their defects of character or ideas or things that they think they should do don't really help. It's best to get education on what you can do to help, and from the people that's been through it. So we've had many others that have walked through the doors of RAEL that are successful. But we have our normal issues and things that we always say that this is the best practice ground to sort of get used to facing any situation differently to what you used to before, and the practice ground to change it and keep practicing it that way to become better people. And sometimes even when a newcomer comes in that doesn't love themselves, we obviously love them until they do rebuild their self-esteem and confidence and things to be able to rebuild themselves. And so want to say thank you to another couple of people this evening. Obviously, Lee J there in the UK that does our social media of carrying the message onto our pages and things like that. That's also been guided by Mr. Wall on how to do it and what to post and all of that. And thank you to our friends that share our posts, that we can reach so much more people and save them from where these guys have been. Last night I said it's only by grace that where else do you find 30 people that are at peace, that are off drugs, that were all on drugs and in bad places before. And sometimes I try and use the example with the guys that if you've broken your leg or your hip or you've been in a car accident, you don't always want to be in hospital, but sometimes you need to be in that hospital to recover. And there are parts of it that can be unpleasant, but like anything, with anything, if you're growing, you usually get growing pains, and that's what goes along with it. And so we just want to say thank you to the doctor that is very involved, our two pastors that come to us and do the inner healing and the spiritual sessions and all of that. And thank you to God, what He's done in Mr. Hall's life and all of our lives. And when the guys take the suggested program and they run with it and they get all the information about addiction recovery that they can from us, from the literature, and do their part, and if they keep doing it, there is no glitch in the system for them to be able to relapse. Thank you obviously very much to Mr. Wall. Like I said, the doctor as well. The doctor is very involved with the guys and the patients and their progress and how we can go about it going forward with them and their well-being. And then Mr. Kearney as well, Kearney Malgas, that is also a very respected man and pastor that does a lot here on the farm, that that we've seen him help guys change in a few short weeks, turn them right around and teach them things. And there's lots for these guys to grow and do here, because we believe at RAEL, instead of giving a man a fish, give him the rod. And that is the way forward that we should be going. Because if we give him the rod, he can teach the next man how to use the rod. And we can change one addict at a time. And like we say, by changing one addict, we might not be able to change the whole world, but the whole world changes for that addict and their family. The nightmare stops. Sometimes if the addict listens still for the person in recovery listens for a short while after they leave here, and the nightmare's over. But once they stop practicing the principles that we teach here, then the nightmare usually starts over. And that is what we like to get involved with and help with, so that parents and loved ones and people around the person after they leave the primary program can do that and live full lives. And then obviously there's guys on the primary program, there's guys that study, there's guys that work online, there's guys that get jobs in the town, and it's all part of the learning experience. So I'm going to end off there. I'll go through your guys' comments a little bit later, and I'll reply to them. But thanks for watching us this evening, and also, like all the guys outside there that is part of the RAEL family, the names that I mentioned earlier, and help us to grow this family so that less people has to suffer. Because one of the main reasons that I do this, and that I believe that Mr. Hall does this, is because he doesn't want other families to go through what he's put his family through, what addiction has done to his family. And I think our results show that we have the answers. So any questions and things like that, you can obviously inbox us. And I'm glad you guys have met the team. Not the team, the members that are on the program. And you can have the same blessing and privilege as me, and watching them grow as we get to hear more of their stories and how it's been, how it was, what happened, and what it's like now in going forward. And so thank you all for watching. God bless you all, and thank God that all of us over here are in a safe and sober place where I believe that the way parents should look at it is that if my son is in a recovery center, at least he's not on the streets or putting drugs into his body. As long as he's getting 3 meals a day, his needs are taken care of, he's in a warm bed, got a roof over his head, a shower, being looked after properly, no corporal punishment. It's a bit of a cuck one sometimes. But anywhere that your son is that is off drugs should be better than where he was on drugs. Remember, we speak about there's two park benches. There's the one in the park or in the gutter, and then there is the park bench in your mother's house. And then sometimes when you come to rehab, your mom or your loved ones have become so codependent and need to be needed, and the addict is still so sick because it's a family illness, parents still want to reward their kids for saving their lives. The easier it's made for an addict, the lower the result. There cannot be another option for an addict besides life and choosing life and getting his shit together. Then there shouldn't be another option. Because I promise you, if the promises are made, let me stay at home, let me do this, let me do that. Addiction is an illness, and the ill person is dominated by addiction. And all of the parents watching, you know that that is proof and that it's true what I'm saying. Because if they had kept their promises, they wouldn't have been here today. So, we thank you all for watching, and we'd love to keep you updated with everybody's lives that is here, and see you all again tomorrow evening when our friend Ura will be sharing. So thank you all for watching, and you baby an addict, you bury an addict. I'm gonna leave you all with that tonight. Thank God we're all here for the parents and loved ones' sanity and for our own sanity as well. Thank you very much to the RAEL organization and to Mr. Hall and to everybody that's affiliated with it. Mr. Kearney, our two pastors, the doctor, and a couple of other people that are very good to us. Thank you for what you do, all the selfless acts of kindness. It is really appreciated by the organization. But most of all, thank you very much to Mr. Hall for always putting yourself aside for everybody else's needs, in the hope that they would never have to go through what many an addict has been through. Alright, thank you all for watching. And tonight has just been more proof that anybody can recover, but addiction also doesn't look at color, creed or breed. Doesn't look at background. It doesn't look at how you were raised. It doesn't look at any of those things. Addiction is probably the only thing that does not discriminate and is the greatest equalizer. Thank you very much. God bless.